Ain't nothing but a LA party. Boom, boom, boom. Ain't nothing but a LA party. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Picture perfect. We paint a perfect picture. We got Stafford Cup and Puka and our defense looking upward. Those crying about a face mask mad because they'll be dead last when they come our path. We also got the Lakers doing their thing. We got LeBron and Bronny playing together. Such a beautiful thing. World Series, Dodgers won the first game because Grand Slammer Freddie Freeman is his name. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves a Halloween show for the Fantasy BS Pod. I'm your boy, Matthew Stafford, and we got LL Cool J over there. Hey, LL, how are you doing?
Man, I said Rams gonna knock you out, baby. They look
Boom.
good on that Thursday night. Welcome in. We are recording this Saturday. We're probably gonna drop this Monday, so it might be after the games. But damn, man, Puka Nakua looked hot. Cooper Cup looked like he was second fiddle, which is
Mm.
incredible. But I'm telling you, Smitty, I watched every play back. I replayed the whole game. Puka Nakua looked every bit as good as Jettas on the field. That was not an outlier year for him. That dude is a man amongst Himothy's in the realm of football. And I gotta tell you, I love the hair. I always like to talk about the flow. That man's hair, the stash combo. How can you not love that guy? Like, you could not hate Puka Nakua. Put him on your team. Go trade for him. Just love the man, is all I'm saying. And that comes from a Cardinals fan, Smitty. That's the crazy part. But congrats on your
Loved it.
LA win. All right, guys, we've got a pretty decent show. We're not going to go over too much Dynasty today. We're actually going to go more just talk players, redraft, rest of the season. This is going to be a really ADD show. Halloween show we got to do. We're going to take this everywhere. So giddy on up, buckle up, let's go. So news, Smitty. We got a lot of injuries going on, and it's starting to sadden my heart. But we deal with this every year. And we had last week was just really bad for Baker Mayfield at Tampa Bay Bucks. So we've got Mike Evans out. We think he'll be back, after his bye, 4 weeks or so. But Godwin's gone for the year. And we also had Brandon Ayuk go out for the year. And we got DK Metcalf banged up, man. Those are four big boy wide receivers in our world of fantasy football. What say you right now about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I want to talk about what we're doing right now there with that squad.
Dude, I mean, if you have Kate Otten, congratulations, because he stepped up when Baker needed him to. And honestly, I'm if you have Jalen McMillan, flex pay, pretty solid flex play. I'm pretty excited for Sterling because I had to have this conversation with I believe you and our friend Dubcast about who will be the one that steps up, and I think by the end of that conversation, it made me realize that the veteran presence, or not presence, but the veteran skill set is always important for a quarterback, especially like Baker. So be excited for your go ahead and pick him up off waivers. I know he's out there, right? And I wouldn't mind flexing him out. But overall, I'm just very, 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 very excited for Rashad White because Rashad White, despite all those losses, he is back. Whew, man's
I
look
think
good.
he's gonna be wide receiver one for them, dude. Like, do you remember all the
Oh,
opportunity of why he was in the top five running backs last year? It was strictly, I mean, he's the pass catcher. Bucky Irving's coming in. He's taken a lot of those snaps, but look at McMillan is the ad everyone did. That's where everybody wanted to go. Highest fab bidder of the week for all positions on average. But I like that. And when I watched the game, yes, he was the one they started targeting. But that was mid game that they had to change the game plan. Now they're
yep.
going in and writing a new game plan. And I love White. I think if you're making a push, I don't care if this is redraft or dynasty, I think he needs to be on your squad right now because he's cheaper than he has been because we got Bucky Irving there. We got Sean Tucker there that balled out. They talked about the three-headed monster, but I think White gets more touches with this. I love Auden, but I do like your idea. Go get the vet. Sterling Shepard, go get the vet. You know what? That's where you can save money and think contrarian sometimes where, you know what? I didn't get this guy, but there's targets vacated on that offense that we need to go get. Kate On's going to step into a stud role, I think, especially in a big tight end premium.
Mm.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Brandon Ayuk. Smitty, we were texting. This is kind of funny, everyone listen. Smitty had a bad morning for fantasy football. And we were just talking, and he's an LA fan. Everyone knows that listens to this show. And he just started jinxing everybody left and right. He's like, I need this player to go. Can we take Brandon Ayuk out? Can we do this? I need a quarterback. Like, he is straight pissed off. And this is before the LA Rams game. Finally, I'm like, dude, Debo's out. You killed him. Brandon Ayuk's out. Like, stop jinxing these guys, man. Like, don't do that. You know, I know you love the Rams, but show some love. But BA going down is massive.
Can I be
Debo,
honest about Brandon Ayuk actually?
yeah, please.
During when the Niners have these little contract dispute issues that just take a whole offseason, they're just so clown showy. Uh, I started feeling slightly bad for Debo because some of those Niner fans were making fun of him and his mother. That was kind of crazy. When they did it for Bosa, I wasn't really too upset because Bosa, he's important to that defense. He's gonna get paid. When they were doing it to Ayuk, as funny as it was to me, there started becoming a point where he was posting videos saying, "Man, the Niners don't want me. They don't want me." Like, it just started getting emotional. I'm like, oh God, this is pretty sad. And then for him to have to accept the deal that was offered to him originally, though I find it funny, that again, that's actually kind of sad. So it's just for him to be out for the year, I'm like, honestly, I'm kind of like, I'm hurt for him, and I really wish this deal didn't happen. I mean, obviously, you need the financial protection, but that man needs to be on another team. Like, I don't think I don't think this is it for him. It's a dangerous team. They play tough, they play hard, they play strong, and this hurts. Okay, real football, real fantasy analysis. This is massive. I mean, we can be excited for Ricky Pearsall, still rookie, got shot recently too. So, ooh, um, we can be excited for Kittle, but he's an injury to away, and then we can also be very excited for Debo, but same situation. I don't really know what to say about the Niners, and I'm actually starting to worry about Purdy for the remainder of the year too.
Oh gosh, yeah. So, I'm not afraid to give plugs to other podcasts. We run our own, but hey, listen, you know what? We're going to pull up a strength of schedule from the Fantasy Footballers website later today. But Juwan Jennings, and look, I don't think that that's
Okay.
going to be a surprise for everybody to say, but the reality is, get on to Destination Davy. Look at their Trinity charts. When when Juwan Jennings is on the field, the Trinity charts of what he does and running the routes that matter, he is one of the top 3 or 4 when he does that. So
Yeah.
I do think, find Juwan Jennings on a rebuilding team, do whatever it takes, trade for him. You know what? He is going to possibly be a league winner here. Um, Debo, I Debo's going to do what Debo does. It's the same role. And we've argued about this on the show many times. Who's the one? And me and you have always said Debo. Somebody else that we do a podcast with says Ayuk. But when Debo's not on the field, they don't do well. When Debo's on the field, they do well. And that's why I don't necessarily worry about Brock Purdy because I don't think you can replicate the Debo role, but I think you can mimic a little bit the Brandon Ayuk role. But this is great news for George Kittle moving forward. I mean, he's already
Mm.
top 3 tight end for the year. I do think that that's good, but you know what? If for a dynasty advice, if you've got Brandon Ayuk and you're going to compete, you might have to downgrade to get a healthy receiver to a team that's rebuilding and do whatever it takes, but get somebody else in there. And I wouldn't mind. I don't have a lot of shares of Brandon Ayuk. He wasn't someone I was ever really that big on. But so these players go out. We got players returning though, Smitty. We got some
Oh
players
man, so
returning,
many.
baby. So Stafford, you know very well that you got Puka and you got Cup back last week. Congratulations, Matt.
Whew,
But
thank you.
other players coming back, and this is great for fantasy football. These are very high picks that were affected by Tua Tagovailoa not playing football. I respect Tua. Everyone's saying you should retire. I get it. But at the same point, let a man make his decision for him. This is what he loves. This is what he loves. He knows the risks. He has been educated around the risk coming back. So you know what? If you want to come back to it, you come back. But Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, they've been dead since he's been back. Devon A.
Ron
Chan's been
Jones.
dead since he's been back. Get these players on your team, and hopefully you traded for some of them weeks back and anticipating this. But how excited are you for Tua coming back? I'm
You know
pumped
what?
for football.
Tua is surprisingly, I never really would have thought this, especially on the game he went out, but Tua is a game changer, dude. Like, this really is kind of massive. Now, here's one thing. Johnny Smith has been kind of a thing, kind of the only thing while Tua was out. So I do wonder what Johnny Smith will. I mean, he probably is just going to go back to being an irrelevant tight end, an irrelevant tight end. But I don't know. I'm just excited to see what happens with Jonathan because he was solid during this period.
I mean, he's got some big plays. Like he was always the best ball guy for me. But yeah, I think you're going to get some spot starts because I do think the offense takes off. They're playing Arizona this week. You know, we tend to give up a lot of points. So I was hoping to add one more week before he came back. But you know what? Fantasy gods have said let these behemoth men come back on and score points for your fantasy squad. We also got TJ Hawkinson coming back next week. Very excited about this. Um, I want to see what that offense is going to look like with a third option because they're running two options right now. That third is going to give them all three phases of the football field: short, mid, long. I like this, and I do think that the Vikings are a very good football team. I know they just lost one of their offensive linemen, which was major. That was major to Sam Darnold. But I do think they can scheme now, fit somebody in, and you still got Jettis. You still got Jettis, dude. Like Jettis is quarterback proof. He's proven it. It's
For
just
sure.
he's wide receiver one for years to come. I don't I don't know how they can make a man be better than Jettis.
Dude, I'm still tripping over that Thursday night play where the ball was kind of out of bounds, but just through nice little maneuvers and juggling and like perfect feet placement, he still caught that crazy ball. Like that was, oh man, good for him. But yep, like you said, Jez is forever wide receiver one, at least for a while. If anything, with that offensive lineman going out, this probably puts Hawkinson in like a top five tight end situation immediately for all
Yep.
the short stuff. I mean, I actually don't even. Yeah, yeah, Hawkinson's going to be fantastic immediately.
I think so too, but the problem is he's coming off, I think it's the ACL.
Oh,
Yeah, that sometimes takes a little bit longer, but we see all the evidence from running backs and wide receivers take a little bit longer. I don't think that is that going to affect the tight end spot. I mean, they just by nature run a different route tree. You know, they don't have to be explosive. I mean, has anyone ever said Travis Kelsey is explosive, or did they say he understands defenses and he knows how to find the zone? He's not an electric athlete. So I think Hawk's going to be a good play moving forward. Actually, that might be a good stack with Sam Darnold if you got to have a spot starter here and there. I don't even know. Sam Darnold might not be a spot starter anymore.
oh,
I don't know if he's
darn.
top 12, but with bye weeks, man, he can throw some touchdowns. He really can. All right, Smitty, let's get into it. Here's what we got for you. We're going to pull up strength of schedule per position and go over strength of schedules a little bit, go over some game plans on what we need to do rest of the year for teams that are going for it. This is a go for it. We're not going to talk rebuilding right now unless we do get in. We might get into a little bit of some trades, but these are teams going for it here. So I'm going to get this up on the screen here. And we do thank our boys over at the fantasy footballers for putting all this analytics together because I live off analytics and this is what I love. All right, so let's start with the
This
running
is
back
so nice.
position
Look
here.
at that. Okay.
Yeah. All right, let's start with the running back position, Smitty. So this is scheduled adjusted, which is what we want to see rest of year best matchups the rest of the year moving forward. New York Jets are sitting at number one. They
Mm.
go into New England this week. They have a bad matchup next week against Houston. Then they go into Arizona, which is a decent matchup, but our D line's getting a little bit better. But from there, this is fantasy gold. Your trade deadline is right around here, probably the 10. Some dynasty leagues like we recommend don't have trade deadlines. But once you get through week 10, you go Indianapolis, then you got the
Oh,
bye. Then you go Seattle, Miami, Jacksonville, you go the Rams, Buffalo, and Miami. Those are all in the worst run defenses. These are the best matchups you possibly can. So, Smitty, does this just make you want to go buy Bryce anywhere in a trade? I don't care dynasty, I don't care about redraft. Like you got to own Brees.
yeah, and you know what? I'm looking at the Falcons strength of schedule. I'm overexposed with Bijan at this point to where that might be a conversation I'm willing to have. And honestly, it can't be a one-on-one. You're gonna have to do a little maneuvering. You're gonna have to add stuff. But if you could turn your Bijan into Brees, especially for this particular season, I'd I'd find that out. I'd try to make that work. I would.
I would do that in a heartbeat. I would do that in a heartbeat. Um, especially in Dynasty. I mean, people always have, Bijan ahead. They have always had Bijan at the one now because Christian McCaffrey's getting old. But I think you can do that. You definitely can get it done in a redraft. You might have to add or just, have some wide receiver swaps. Trading in redrafts a little bit different than Dynasty. But Breece Hall has to be our number one running back recommended moving forward with the strength of schedule. The Arizona Cardinals are number two. We've got some sweet, sweet, sweet matchups.
Mm.
We go Miami this week. Then we have middle of the road, Chicago and the Jets. And then we go on a bye.
Let's just be
Then
honest. I think the Jets might actually should be green at this point. Just they look so bad as of late.
they're getting Hassan Reddick back, which is
Oh,
huge.
I didn't know about that. Oopsie.
Yeah, I think there's a possibility of them getting better. We have a really
Hopefully.
bad matchup against Minnesota, who just is, I mean, they are run stoppers. But Arizona hits this run right as you get into the playoffs, week 14. Last week of regular season, where they go Seattle, New England, Carolina, Rams, and then week 18, San Francisco. We don't really care about week 18 too much. But this is aligned right up where the Jets are. They are not far off of the playoff matchups. This is, to me, where you can get some serious work done. If you're on a winning team and going to get James Conner, I want to take a look at some of these running backs that have bad strengths of schedule here. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, Las Vegas Raiders, Baltimore Ravens, those three have horrific schedules rest of year. Now, I'm willing to bet that you can get a King Henry and Breece Hall deal done in redraft and dynasty. Probably not dynasty, but let's talk redraft right now. That takes some balls to do, but King Henry sits the weeks that matter, Pittsburgh and Houston, who is number 5. Pittsburgh's 13 against the run. I would much rather Breece Hall in a matchup against in my fantasy championship, the Buffalo Bills, who are the 29th ranked team against the run. Smitty, do you got the balls to do that trade?
Oh yeah, and the thing is, I would do it honestly. I would do it right now. I would do it right now because I mean, Henry is red hot right now. Just had a fantastic Monday night game, so he's probably just gonna keep that going. And you can't beat what Brees got going on. Now I understand. Honestly, you can even say Derrick Henry might be fine. He could probably survive all this, but if you want to, you don't need to put it up the chance. You really don't. The analytics say go after Brees, so just give it a shot.
Yeah.
Dude, I would even for James Conner, dude, I would even consider trading Alvin Kamara away.
Oh yeah. I might consider trading Derrick Henry for James Conner because
Ooh.
Brees and Conner have a very similar schedule. But the reality is, what you can get back more with James Conner and that. Now we're talking about, doing a flop on the running backs. But let's say I've got a player like, give me a mid-tier wide receiver right now.
I mean,
Someone in
suspended,
like
yes, but Jameson Williams.
no, a little bit higher than that. I want to talk about maybe 14th or 20, maybe a DK Metcalf.
Gotcha.
If I've got a squad and I can send DK and I can send Derrick Henry and get James Conner and Jettis, that's where I'm talking. You can upgrade to one of the gods in that wide receiver range and give up someone in that's, wide receiver 2-ish. I think it's where it's at. All right, so let's take a look at the third best strength of schedule. My goodness, Saquon Barkley. He doesn't even have one red matchup on here, and he's through his bye. And I will tell you, I now that I'm seeing he's through his bye, this makes me want to buy him even more and get rid of a running back that hasn't had their bye yet, so I can match up much better and make that push to hopefully get a bye or into the playoffs. This schedule's sick. He's got Cincinnati, Jacksonville, Dallas, which is atrocious against the run, Washington, Rams, then the middle of the pack, Baltimore Ravens, then the worst defense against in week 14. That's final week of the year, Carolina Panthers. Bad matchup, against Pittsburgh, first week of the playoffs. But then you get Washington and Dallas in your semis and championship. This is really the type of I want Saquon, but he is expensive, especially after the revenge game, dude. I don't know if I could
Yeah,
figure out a trade that'd make that
you
work.
gotta be sneaky and overall. Honestly, I say this: if you are a Saquon owner, congratulations. Just stand strong. Make sure the rest of your team can make it to the playoffs because you got the piece that'll get it done once you're in the top six. So just set everything else around Saquon if you have him. Acquiring him though, I think it actually might be impossible. I mean, I
It
really
is.
couldn't. You got to overwhelm that guy or
Yeah,
girl.
I mean, even Derrick Henry doesn't, I don't think, get it done. I think that person's like, yeah, I got the same player. I get King Henry, I get it, but I wouldn't even take the age risk. He slows down, and Lamar's going to vulture some touchdowns. I guess Hurts does as well, but um, yeah, I'm in on Saquon here. All right, next best set, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We talked a little bit about them to open the game or open the show. They've got two really bad matchups right now. They've got Atlanta, which is third against the run, and they've got Kansas City that is first against the run. But this is the point in the schedule where I think we'll know what running back we really want to own in here.
Hmm.
But week 10, as you get into your trade deadline or wherever it's at, you might want to start looking at these matchups. I know he's got a bye week 11, but he goes San Francisco, which is 18th against the run, and then it is smooth sailing. New York Giants, Carolina, Las Vegas, Chargers, first week of the playoffs, kind of tough, but then you get Carolina, the 32nd team against the run for your championship week, and you need to plan out for that. That is that's prime time. How you win a league is getting one of these four that we just talked about.
Okay, I have a slight suggestion, and it's gonna hurt a little bit, but if the rest of your team is primed up, you got yourself a winner. Tony Pollard is kind of the only tight end that you want at this point, and
You mean
he's
running
gonna
back?
have a good game this weekend probably. I mean, I'm telling you, he's the offense. So when we get to week 9 and look at how good Pollard has been and how unfortunate things have been for Rashad White, you should totally make the trade right there, right on the deadline. Maybe even now, if you can take a couple hits. Even though I think Rashad White will probably be fine during the. Oh, that's tough. Anyways, all I'm saying is, if you have Pollard, try turning him into Rashad White sooner than later.
Yeah, there's people that are scared about Rashad White. I mean, Bucky Irving he looks good, dude. He looks really good. But here is some advice now that I'm looking at this. Los Angeles Rams, our nickname 204, Kyron Williams.
Hmm.
Um, this is who I would look at moving for James Conner. This is the move that I would look to make because when I look at his semifinals and championship week, it is against the Jets and Arizona, who is 15th and 14th against the run. And I know you can go get James Conner plus from Kyron Williams right now to face the 32nd and the 23rd ranked defenses semifinals and championship week. You got to plan for these things. Um,
Yeah,
could you, Matthew Stafford, could you trade away Kyron Williams? Could you do it for James Conner? Would you do it?
to
I
be
would do
honest
it.
with you, he is. When I was dealing with my injuries, or when I was dealing with my wide receiver core injuries, he was a shining light. So honestly, I think everyone else kind of agrees. He's getting a touchdown per game. That's kind of the stickiest stat ever. To where, yeah, his return should be pretty high, especially if you're going after someone like Connor. Oh my goodness, the plus you can get with Connor, you might actually be able to send away. Okay, you might be able to send away Kyron and get John Connor or James Connor plus.
Have you seen this running back?
I'm sorry, I can't think of another guy. Maybe I can't think of another guy, but you're right. The return that you can get for Kyron is
Mhm.
absolutely fire. So I would suggest it. Um, God, that means I might have to really consider doing that in some leagues to myself.
Yeah, I mean, I get he's going to give you a nice little run because I like his matchups. The next 4 weeks better than James Conner, but man, right, it really frees up right there. No trade deadline. See if you can make that trade week 11, right before he goes into Philadelphia week 12.
Hmm.
That's where I'd look to make that trade. So basically, what we're telling you is go buy these running backs. I think James Conner, obviously we talked about, he is the cheapest out of everyone because if you're not looking at these stats, you don't think of him as these other guys do. All right, bottom of the pack. Let's just go over there. So again, Pittsburgh Steelers. Look at there's a lot of
Jesus.
podcasts that talk about Jalen Warren stepping up into this role. Najee looks much better the last couple weeks. The offense looks better the last couple weeks. Maybe it's time that you utilize that. If I got Najee Harris right now, I want out. And I want out to almost any other starting running back because he has the worst schedule moving forward. So I would like to upgrade to anything better than that schedule. Even if it's going in, okay, I would start. Oh man, this one's going to be kind of hard. Would you want J.K. Dobbins or Najee Harris? I want J.K. Dobbins. I mean Najee. That might be.
To be honest, I was so like quietly impressed with the run defense from Arizona to where I'm kind of a little worried about JK. So I would rather have Najee.
Yeah, I would too. That's kind of my break on these charts. But even if you try to get into a Buffalo Bills running back, Kansas City running back, even if you want to go get Kareem Hunt doesn't have the worst schedule moving forward, but he's got a better one than Najee does, and I think you might be able to get that trade done somehow.
Dude, and
Um,
if you feel like Isaiah Pacheco's coming back, you can do this right now. You can trade Najee for an IR clogger in Isaiah Pacheco and see what happens. I mean, honestly, the loss really wouldn't even be that bad if Isaiah Pacheco sucks the rest of the season because Najee's about to really crush your team. I mean, like
I don't
destroy it.
I don't know if Najee's coming back, man. Or not Najee. I mean Pacheco.
Oh,
I,
Pacheco.
how is
I
it now?
completely understand that.
Yeah.
The way he
Um,
runs, like honestly, it is ugly.
Joe Mixon is in bottom 10 of worst matchups coming up. This could be a really good time to trade Joe Mixon here. Look at semifinals. He's going against the number one rushing defense in the Kansas City Chiefs. He's also going against Baltimore in the championship week. You can sell high on Joe Mixon big time. I mean, Joe Mixon will probably get you into Minnesota Vikings running back. Commanders,
Aaron
Brian
Jones, yeah.
Robinson. Absolutely, you can get that done. Um, yeah, you can get these done. There's some better ones to go get there. Um, yeah, sell Joe Mixon. Go up, get on to fantasy footballers, get on to their defensive ranks, or sorry, their running back ranks, strength of schedule, and check out where you want to go. But our advice, running backs again, Derrick Henry, pivot off. I know I can say he's matchup proof. He's the man. I get it. This is a really bad schedule moving forward, but go buy those top guys and get some trades done like that. Smitty, let's go into wide receivers. This one's always fun.
Woo.
This one's a little nuts to me. Okay.
Oh
The
no.
advice the advice might not be the same in some of these positions because as we look at the number one strength of schedule for wide receivers is the Tennessee Titans.
I'm
Now,
gonna say it really quick. If you can, okay. I would actually see if the Ridley owner would take Najee. I mean, I just want to see what happens, right? Like, I mean, I look at this schedule and I'm very excited, but Will Levis is absolute garbage, but Ridley is kind of the only guy there. So just like the buy lowest of the low and just see what happens. That's kind of where I'm sitting.
there's a player that I want to go put on my team. And there's only really one player. I don't want Calvin Ridley. That's just me. I don't really care. Someone's
Okay,
got to get the targets there. Now, Smitty, I'm going to put a waiver claim in, and this
I
is
know
my
who it
idea.
is.
You don't get to screw me on this one,
I won't.
but take a waiver at Tyler Boyd on a football team right now. Dude, he's free. He's on your waivers. No one's talking about him. But if you get an injury or, whatever might happen, when he's going against Jacksonville in your championship game, which is the worst passing defense in the league, he's going against Indiana and Cincinnati, all some of the worst. Look, it doesn't mean you got to start him. I'm not, wait and see. He's free. Just try him out. Just put him on your roster. That's what this tells me. I don't want to trade for anybody on this team, dude.
I mean, but like I'm just looking at the schedule. It's kind of nuts how great it is. So I am willing to do a flyer, but you gotta buy really low and the boy for free. I mean, that's kind of as great as it gets, really.
Dude, when he's had his opportunities, He is, look, he's not an elite athlete, but dude, he's gone out there and gotten 7, 8, 9 catches before. And if you're in a deep roster, start 10, start 11, go do it. But you know what? I think everyone needs to listen to you on Calvin Ridley a little bit. I dogged him pretty hard with what I said, and I don't think that might have been the best advice because there is a lot of targets that they are going to have to throw the football to. Philadelphia Eagles, second best passing. Now, look at there's a serious connection between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. There seems to be a disconnect right now in Devontae Smith.
Mm.
This tells me I would like to go buy Devontae Smith. I would like to trade for him because I think his price is only going to get better. But this is a short-term and a long-term play because this week he's going against Cincinnati, the 25th ranked worst pass defense, Jacksonville, which we said is the worst, Dallas the next week, in Washington. That's a really good 4-week run against teams that are really bad at the pass. You can get him very cheap. But if you do decide to go get AJ Brown, I think that you also need to take the chance of just stacking that and try to find a way to get Hurts on your team. Or if you're a Hurts owner, I think you should overpay slightly to get the stack with AJ Brown. But how do you feel about those options, Smitty?
I feel like AJ
care
Brown.
about the tight ends.
I feel like AJ Brown and Saquon Barkley are just like this out of reach. I mean, the only Jettas is probably the only person that can get you in the conversation with AJ Brown because if I had AJ Brown, he's not going anywhere, especially with this news.
Okay. So let's talk about going to get Devontae Smith.
Okay.
These are the worst schedules against the pass. So New England's worse. I don't think we're really trying to get anything from them. Cleveland Browns. This is going to be interesting to see with Nick Nack, Patty Wack, Give a Dog a Bone starting. But again, even if they go off, they're going against Baltimore, which is the 31st worst passing defense. I'm not buying a big game from any of the receivers because it is a awful schedule with a bye in there. But let's find a receiver here. Baltimore Ravens. All right. Zay Flowers. So let's talk.
I think nobody's in the Flowers market. However, Terry McLaurin has quietly been a top 12, really top 15 receiver, and now's the time. I mean, well, now's not the time because, okay, when Jaden Daniels is healthy, I think that is a great time to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Because he has been low-key great. I mean, but then he looked at the blacked out schedule. Like, of course he was great. Like, look at all those great games that they've dealt with. So, I think you can trade up Harry.
I think you nailed it, dude. He's going against this week the 4th toughest defense. Next week the 6th. The week after the 7th. That's a tough schedule. And if you can get up into, you definitely get Devontae Smith. Look at when Devontae Smith has had a very rough few weeks, dude. And dude, there are managers that want out and you show them, hey, look what's going on with JD5. Boom, deal done. You could possibly maybe get a plus on that, possibly. But Zay Flowers, I do think people that own Smith look at Flowers and say, I would prefer that.
Okay.
I really do.
You know what? Not a bad move. Not a bad move.
He's scoring, dude. He's scoring. But this is a horrible pass. I mean, I don't want this schedule at all for Zay Flowers. Arizona Cardinals are down there, 6th worst. Marv's hard to sell right now, but they're going up against a defense that's 3rd hardest and then 4th hardest. Like, depending on what your your trade deadline is, like this might be the point where Marv's value is the cheapest it will ever be going into week 10, which is where normal trade deadlines happen. I think there's going to be a buying opportunity on Marvin Harrison moving forward a little bit. What do you think on Marv, Carl?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a great point because it does actually turn up. And you know what? I wouldn't quite know how to go about getting him, but it should be cheap either way. You can give up a wide receiver too.
Could you get This is a team I want to talk about next.
Hmm.
Chicago Bears. Look, there's a
Oh
few in
boy.
here. Actually, we'll get to the Chicago Bears in a second, but I think what about trading Roman Doomsday plus for Marv?
Oh my God. I would do that. I mean, look, I'm rostering Doomsday in a redraft, and I
I
can't
mean,
wait
you're
for you to
I
get off.
mean you're getting sorry. I mean you're getting Rome in that
Ooh,
trade. You're
now that's
pivoting
scary.
off of Marv
Now
for
that's
Rome.
scary. Oh boy, man. I mean, you
Look at
gotta really
this.
hope for the best this weekend. I mean, he has a great matchup, so
Dude, he's got some really good
you gotta do
matchup.
it
The
now.
Bears.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah. If you're trying to acquire Rome, you gotta do it like as soon as you see this part of the podcast, because my God, it does get better. Better days are definitely ahead.
I agree. So the
He's trying
Steelers
to.
and the Giants have
Mhm.
the third and fourth best teams they're facing moving forward. George Pickens. Um, George is a little expensive here, and that's what I want on the passing. If it's not George Pickens, I'm not trying to get Calvin Austin. I'm not going there. But when I look at this, it does tell me that I probably can tear down off of a wide receiver. And for instance, let's say
Wow,
Brian
I just thought
Thompson
of a trade
Jr.
idea. Okay, you can.
Um, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sun God, tearing down to Pickens and getting a running back that you're going to need to play on your squad the next couple weeks. I will make that trade.
I
I'm
would
in on
too.
that trade.
As the plus, I would love to see what that extra would look like. But man, that's scary. That's ballsy. Trading away Amon Ra, that's a ballsy freaking move. Especially with what's his face suspended. Um, Jameson. I mean, goodness,
They want to run the football, though. I mean, I get that they're going to get their
that's
own,
true.
but they really want to run the football.
That's a
Pittsburgh does
great point.
too. But these stats are telling you you want the better matchup. And when you look at George Pickens, uh, I will say he does have a really bad matchup week 17, but everything else will get you there. Um, Chicago Bears are right after that. So I said go buy Rome. So we've got a
Mhm.
thing we talk about a lot that, you know what? It's the second half of the year that these wide receivers really start balling as rookies. We're just lucky with some of them out there right now. Look at Jettis didn't have a good first 3 or 4 games of his career.
True.
Um, we get that some Malik Neighbors came out and just absolutely balled. Brian Thompson Jr. is balling. But what traditionally happens is after the bye week, the offense starts to turn a little bit. Now they've had 6 weeks to go out there and see what their offense is and said, okay, this is where we're adjusting to the growth of these players. Chicago's coming off of a bye. That is something that says I want to go buy Roma Doomsday because I want the possibility that they make the shift to get him more involved in the offense because he's grown a little bit over the first part of the year. That's why I want to go buy Rome. And Caleb is just getting started. He is getting better and better each week. So what say
Um,
you on the Chicago Bears and what would you look at to trade for? And that's why I brought up that Marvin Harrison because you get that deal done easily.
Dude, yeah, you can actually. You totally can. I feel like this makes DJ Moore seem a little bit more attractive.
Agreed.
Makes him a pretty great buy. Keenan Allen, you know what? I gotta say this. Keenan Allen is forever scared of me because he'll pop off and then he'll be old and fat. I mean, it's really I don't really know what to do with Keenan Allen. He's just kind of annoying at this point, and so I would much rather try to find a way to target DJ Moore. So
Okay.
I mean, I don't quite know how, but he will be the guy I'm targeting.
It's just more expensive, man. I want the possibility of the cheaper option, but I agree. People should listen to you. DJ Moore is an elite wide receiver. He is the one. There's no doubt that he's the one. I'm hoping there's a 1B in with Rome, but I think people should probably listen to you more than me. I think DJ Moore is by far the safest road you could possibly take to get there.
I mean, just
Um,
just as safe goes, but man, the boom with Rome, I don't know. That could be exciting.
yeah. Have you do you think CeeDee Lamb's getting cheaper right now? It's been a very
To
rough
be
year.
honest, he should be, but the name is just too powerful. That's kind of like trading away Amon Ra. Like the return should be beautiful. Actually, you know what? I wouldn't even bother trying to acquire him. I honestly I wouldn't. I know it looks good schedule wise, but it's just you gotta pay up. I think
So,
you can get a. I think if you're gonna pay up, you can go other directions, or should go
so
other directions.
let's say you have Dak Prescott,
Hmm.
okay, just theoretically, and you have Derrick Henry on your team, but you have some depth at running back. Like you're pretty good at running back. You build around running backs. Derrick Henry has one of the worst schedules in the playoffs you can have. Are you making a Derrick Henry for CD trade, needing that
I
wide
would.
receiver?
I would definitely give it a shot. I just feel like that lamb owner would say no. Like I don't know. I mean, it all starts with an offer, of course, but I just feel like his name still holds weight despite how bad that team looks.
Sure. I think it gets done, dude. I think you look at Derrick Henry's numbers, they are insanity. They're Christian McCaffrey's last year. So last year, mid-season, trading CMC for CD Lamb, you can get that done.
Okay, that's a fantastic
I
point,
think.
honestly.
I think. All right. Well, there's some ideas around wide receivers. Let's talk tight ends.
Oh my God, look at your boy. Look at your boy. I'm so happy for you. Dude, this guy freaking loves David Njoku, and it just gets better for him. It's just
Such
getting
a
better
sexy
and
man.
better and better and better. It's just compounding W's for David Njoku. And now he has Nick Nat Paddywhack give a dog a W. Like, this is crazy. This is
Like,
good for Njoku. I mean, trade for him. Like, this really just screams tight end one. Now, what is that
yeah, I
match
think
in Miami? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. He's still going to win the championship,
I will not need to go trade for David Njoku because he's on a lot of my football teams.
right?
Ah, sexy man. But the Cleveland Browns, you got to go get David Njoku off on your team. Now, I will say this. I get he's got a really bad matchup in Miami week 17. Dude, you just got to live with that to get to week 17 because the other matchups are so damn good. I realize he got a little bit more expensive with Winston coming back, but he has the possibility of being tight end one the rest of the year. It's going to be very difficult to take over Brock Bowers just with the eliteness. I mean, there's nobody there to get targets, but that's the same argument I'm going to make in Cleveland right now. So I think you need to do it. But let's take a look at the bottom. Let's see what we might be able to get done here. So Jacksonville Jaguars,
Ooh,
second worst moving forward. Evan Ingram.
that's a big name. That's a
You
big
can,
name with big production. Oh man, I love that. I love
yep.
that.
You can get some. You can figure out probably a way to work that deal out.
Oh,
I
for
mean,
sure.
there's other pieces involved. This isn't a one for one. I don't believe, but you can tweak those pieces and upgrade your team. Ferguson. What if Ferguson goes out and balls out this week? Boom, give me Njoku. I mean, I'm Njoku over all of these tight ends.
Dude, yeah,
Isaiah
for real.
Likely, Mark Andrews. Nah, I can't do anything there. Can't
You
do
know what?
anything there.
Honestly, Mark
Travis
Andrews is really
Kelsey.
coming into like the tight end. He's becoming a tight end one again. So selling him might be the easiest thing.
Travis Kelsey for David Njoku, and you're upgrading, and you trade wide receivers, running backs, and you just upgrade a little bit there. That I'm
Done.
getting done.
Done.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Done, done, done. All right, let's take a look at
Yeah, Pitts is okay. I mean, actually,
can you can you
I
get
don't
Pitts
know.
for
I
Njoku
don't
done?
can't. Fuck me. You might have to add. You're gonna have to add, but that's worth it.
I would try a one for one right off the bat and then work from there. Um, all right, so honestly, that's about all we need to talk about with tight ends.
Oh, and shout
Go
out
and
to
look at
Jimmy
these.
Front.
Yeah, Hawks got a good schedule. We talked a little about him at the beginning of it. Um,
Dude, you could totally do a Trey McBride for Njoku and get something back. I would try that actually.
where's the
I mean,
Cardinals
might be
on
the
here?
first. I mean,
Where's the Cardinals?
if you can,
Ooh, Cardinals aren't too bad, dude. We're Cardinals are at the top of this.
maybe
You
you
know
should
what? This
just
is actually the one scenario I'm actually going to keep Trey McBride just because I like his matchups moving forward. They both have buys, But if I had to nitpick, going against the second best defense against tight ends in the playoffs versus
Oh,
your
not
Rams,
oh no, that's actually the best you can do. Oh my God, we get smoked against these Titans.
Smitty,
Wow.
we're going to be at that game together, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that man with all his tattoos just run up and down us. Oh,
Yep. You are literally going to have an Arizona Cardinals jersey on at that game. All right, let's just break down these quarterbacks real quick. This one's fun to me.
so,
This one's so fun to me. It's going to look a lot like the wide receivers just because they're going off passing yards and this and that. Do not, at any cost, go look at this and say, I need a quarterback, the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. But
uh-huh.
here's what's next: Philadelphia Eagles,
Wow, Hurts a league winner, man.
right? Denver Broncos
Uh,
have the fourth best. Denver Broncos in the playoffs have Indianapolis, Los Angeles Chargers, and Cincinnati Bengals. Dude, you might
that's
just want to.
actually if you have a single quarterback league, I'm getting him on my roster. Right? Because
Yeah,
I kind of love that. Like that might be my favorite trio. Of course, next to Will Levis's, but Jesus, what a great way to go out.
just stash him on the back of that bench for a little bit. It's okay. If you're in a really shallow league, look, we usually don't like holding two quarterbacks, but if you got just a little bit bigger bench, like that might be a really good start in the playoffs. That seems disgusting right now. Dak has a good schedule. Sam Darnold has a good schedule. Russ has a good schedule. But let's take a look at the bad ones. Okay. Josh Allen has one of the worst schedules moving forward, passing wise. Are
And
you
it seems
trading
middle of the
Josh
pack.
Allen?
It seems middle of the pack running wise. Wait, what did you say?
Okay. Between these three quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, they have three of the worst schedules for all of those quarterbacks moving forward the rest of the year. Would you be trading Josh Allen for Jalen Hurts right now?
Yes, because they're kind of similar. Not really, not really. Josh Allen looks a lot better right now, but yeah, that's a deal you can totally get done.
I think that's the move. If I can take the only one I'm not doing it for Lamar Jackson. There's way too much that goes into these charts. This is just passing. His
Hmm.
legs, if you look at, he also has one of the worst rushing defenses to go about, but that one's going to be hard. But if I can get up to Jalen Hurts, I'm feeling really good about things. I want to get up into Dak. Jared Goff, CJ Stroud, but like those are the quarterbacks I want to get going into the playoffs for the rest of the year. Um, could you trade Lamar? You can't trade that man. Like,
No, I mean, no, because I mean, just MV3, dude. Like when you're MVP, none of this really matters, or none of this really matters.
yeah, he really is. All right, man. That's all I got for the matchups. What do you got for this week for games you're looking forward to? Let's spend about 10 minutes and go over some of these. I'm gonna pull up this week's schedule, but I want to spend some time talking about real football and what it means if JD5 plays this week because I want to see JD5 versus Caleb so bad, dude. Like I've been waiting for this for weeks, dude.
Yeah, you really have noticed this immediately and just hyped it up. Um, God, I mean, it's gonna hurt. Honestly, it's gonna hurt because I just don't see it happening. I mean, he could pull a Puka. He could. I pray to God he pulls a Puka. Because like you said, that would be the match of the week. Honestly though, this Eagles Bengals, I mean, my goodness, where's my popcorn? That's going to be a shootout.
I think so. 47 and a half implied point total. Um, yeah, that one's fire. I want to see
You
Lamar
know
go
what?
against the Browns.
It may not be a shootout because Saquon's probably going to do his bidding against Cincy's defense. But if you just want to see like vintage, if you want to see like that vintage Bengals offense, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T Higgins, uh, that might be the game right there.
I agree. I am. Well, we're going to drop this on Monday anyway, so these matchups won't even matter by the time there. Let's just pray that we're talking next week about Caleb Williams and JD5. All right, man, that's all I got to you. Got anything else you want to say to listeners, Smitty?
No, just happy Halloween. It's a fun
Right,
holiday.
go have some fun. We obviously love Halloween around here. So, Matthew Stafford, thank you for joining. As you know, the hip hop boy over here, it was fun. It was great. But Cardinals going to knock Miami out this week. Let's do it.
Well, let's
Cheers,
talk about
everybody.
it.